Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Well, I'm working on the Prostreet group build, and I'm going to paint up some parts. And I still do a lot of brush painting. I do try to spray as many things as I can, especially big sub-assemblies. But a lot of times I still do brush paint the smaller parts. So here we have the two carbs here, the oil pan, and the valve covers here, as well as the master cylinder and booster and the starter over here. So I like to paint my carbs with MCW, carb green gold. And normally what I do before then, I use silver. This is chrome silver, Tester's chrome silver, as a base. I let that dry, and then I use the carb green gold. Okay, maybe if I get in a shot. And it's pretty good. You know, you get that good greenish gold carb color, and these are holly carbs, so that's the color that they generally are. So on the oil pan, I always like to go for that Mylodan zinc coating color on the oil pans. And how I achieve that, again, I put a base of chrome silver on it. Then I go with the gold, metallic gold, and then I go over it with the Tamiya X24 clear yellow. And it usually gives that goldish tint that I'm looking for. Now the valve covers are probably just going to be satin black on this one. So that's why they're sitting over here. So over here you have the master cylinder and brake booster, and the brake booster itself will be that zinc coating as well. So I'll use silver, the gold, and then the clear yellow to achieve that. Now on the starter, that's just going to be black and silver. You know how they are. And so while I have the silver out, I'm going to go ahead and brush paint the silver areas. And then later when I pull out the satin black or the flat black, I will paint the rest of that. And I still have a lot to do, but let me get cracking on the painting, and I'll show you how I do it. I wanted to add that normally when it comes to oil pans, I will take them out to my shop and I will paint the oil pan. I will spray it, and usually with a silver or bright coat chrome, Rust-Oleum bright coat chrome, and then I will do the yellow tint and stuff like that. But today, for the sake of this video, I am just going to brush paint it. And also, I have decided not to put the blower, the supercharger, on the engine for the Chevelle. Just can't make it look right, and just don't feel like ordering an engine off Iceman or 3D scale parts. So basically that's it. Make sure you cover the whole thing with silver. Let it dry properly. Go on to the next one. I know a lot of guys like to airbrush all the parts, as many parts as they can and everything, but I find that super tedious. I only have 2 airbrushes, and I find it a pain in the rear end to continuously change colors and clean the airbrush and get it ready for another color. So I still do it old school. At least I don't, I mean, I can't say that I was going to say at least I don't paint the stuff on the sprue, but sometimes I still do, and I know that bothers people. But I don't have a problem painting stuff on the sprue and then taking a detail brush and then touching it up. You know, I'll clean it off and make sure there's no residual sprue on there, and then I'll touch it up with a detail brush after it's glued in place. But Some people have a really hard time with that, but that's pretty much how models were built back in the day. You painted everything on the sprue and then you assembled the model. And that's the way that I grew up doing it. That's the way people taught me how to do it. But everybody has their own little techniques that they like, and to be honest with you, to me it's not wrong. You know, the end justifies the means. If that's the way that you like to build, go for it. Who am I to tell you it's wrong, right? All right, so let me get this oil pan painted up, and then we will come back after these are dry, and I'll show you me applying the gold. Okay, so the silver on the carbs is dry enough, and my MCW paints is mixed up, and I will take the brush and I will just hit it with the gold, and you'll see that it'll change from the silver to the gold color, and it's subtle. Carburetors are not an in-your-face gold, so to speak, and that's why you don't want to take the gold leaf, Tamiya, whatever. And if you notice, it kind of mixes with the silver a little bit. And later what I do after all of this is dry, I'll go back in with the panel liner and I will actually hit it, and it'll highlight some spots, you know, like you normally would with your panel liner. Now a lot of times you're never going to see the carbs, so you wonder why you put so much detail. The problem is that as model builders, we know they're there. It's just like, why do you spend so much time detailing an interior on a car? Nobody's really going to see it, right? Well, we know. We'll know when we didn't do something. And I think that's the biggest problem. We know when we didn't do it. Just like all our flaws in our model cars. Somebody else looking at them will never see them. But we know every single one is there. Let me turn this light on. Alright. It might be a little bit better. Let me clean this brush off real quick. Now you're probably wondering why I painted that oil pan silver and now I'm going to paint it gold. It's the best combination I've found to get that color that I want, because what it does is it'll mix with that silver a little bit and you'll have darker spots and lighter spots. Obviously it'll be that mottled look, and just like on the carbs, if you look on those carbs, the gold mixed with the silver that was already there, because obviously they haven't been drying all that long. Okay, so that's what's going to happen on the oil pan as well, and then it'll give that look that I'm looking for. Everybody has their own techniques. These are mine. You don't have to do it this way. It's still a pretty color, isn't it? Like I said earlier, as long as you're getting the desired effects that you want and you're happy with the builds that you're doing, what does it matter? I think that's a problem nowadays. People offer too many opinions without having a reason for offering an opinion. If you can help me better my modeling, that's great. But if people are just being critical, like people on Facebook, I think people on Facebook are critical for no other reason than they want to be critical. There's always 9,000 ways to skin a cat. But everybody always thinks that their way is the right way, right? So it's not. However, if I see you're doing something and you're getting better results, I'll learn from you and I'll take your advice. All right. So like I said, you'll see in some areas it's probably very hard to pick up because all you're seeing is the gold. But in some areas, the gold and the silver have mixed together and it's got a little different sheen to it, I guess. Different color to it. And then what ends up happening is when you put the clear on, it actually highlights those areas. I used to just do the oil pans gold. And then I started using a clear yellow not very long ago when I was doing that ASA car. So, Lucas C has a different technique. I think he uses silver leaf, Tamiya silver leaf, and some other colors, and then the yellow clear over it and stuff like that. And it's a technique he uses and it works. And that's another thing, guys. If you see something that I'm doing that you think is wonky or just flat out wrong, tell me. I'm a big boy, I can take it. If you have critique, you know, positive critique on something, go ahead and tell me. You know, if you don't like a video, give it a thumbs down. You know what I mean? That helps me grow and it helps me learn what you guys want and what you guys want to see. But, so I did take the liberty. Obviously, I painted the starter and the solenoid. I got a couple areas I got to touch up with the silver because I got, you know, crazy. I painted the brake booster here, and I don't know why I just cleaned the brush, but because I got to paint that gold as well. And I did paint the valve covers semi-gloss black, and I don't like it. I don't like the way they look right now, but that's okay. We can fix it. Alright, so we're going to do the same thing on that brake booster up there. Get a different brush. I'm going to do the same thing on the brake booster, and we're going to hit it with some gold. I still have not gotten my overhead camera arm. Just haven't gone and looked. But my intention is to get one and do more of these videos where you guys are watching me build. And I don't want to make it too boring and stuff like that. You know, and sometimes stuff like this is going to get boring and tedious and be painful to watch. That's why I haven't done it. Not to mention the camera angles and stuff that you got to use to do it. You know, you don't want the camera in the way. You don't want to knock the camera over. And to be honest, if you guys can see that, that gold is not too bad for a brake booster. You know, as it is. Looks pretty good. But I'm still going to probably put the clear yellow on it. Well, I'm going to step away and I'm going to let all this paint dry for a while. And when I come back, I'm going to apply the clear yellow X24 to the oil pan and the brake booster. Okay, so now we've let this dry for quite a while, and I'm going to put a coat of the clear yellow over top of it. See how it turns out. See how the color changes. You see the gold from there to gold there, I think. Turn this light on. There to there. I'm hoping you can see the difference. You want to make sure you brush it out so you don't have pooling, because you just don't want that look. Oh, that looks good to me. Doesn't look too bad. We'll let that dry and we'll see what that does. Let's move on to the brake booster. There you have it. So like I said earlier, guys, this is not the way you have to do it. This is the way that I do it to get the color that I want. And you may not like that. You may not like the color of it at all. You might do it totally different than the way I did it. But I kind of like this gold color. I like how this comes out on the pan. To me, it makes it look like the zinc coating on the Mylodan pans. And for some reason, I like that look. Now I'm looking at the carbs, and I actually think that I could put another coat of the MCW carb green gold on here at this point, now that it's more dry. But I'll spare you that and do that on my own off camera. Alright guys, I hope this may have helped you out. and showed you just a different way of doing stuff. And I appreciate you all watching my videos. And if you're not subscribed, go down there now and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. And I guess I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.